Knight of Ruin Sterne is the latest unit to hit War of the Visions. Is he everything that he's hyped up to be? Is he strong? Let's go over everything you need to know about Knight of Ruin Sterne today, guys, before we get into that. If you guys are playing War of the Visions or Brave Exvius and you're not using the Amazon App Store version of the game, there's no reason not to, especially if you're making in-app purchases, because the App Store and Amazon coins are going to save you up to 20%. We're sponsored by Amazon in the App Store today, and through Amazon coins, you can save up to 20% on your in-app purchases. There's going to be a special link down below that gives you an even bigger maximum 20% purchase on 2 different bundles that you can use repeatedly over the course of however many times it is that you want to. So definitely go ahead and make sure you check out the Amazon App Store version, swap over. If you're buying anything in app, there's no reason not to save up to 20% on your valuable real world money. So go ahead and check that out. Thank you once again for that sponsorship, and let's get into the content. So let's check out Sterne, the Knight of Ruin version here. He's got his own new job, obviously Knight of Ruin. He also has this 2 sub jobs of Assassin as well as Samurai. His Trust Master reward is the Accursed Armor, and is a very interesting TMR here. It's an armor, actual heavy type armor, 444 HP, 10 defense, and 12 critical hit rate. And it has a very interesting TMR skill here called the Never Ending Enmity. This is going to increase your attack resistance to 35 for 3 turns at max level. This is your single target attack resistance here. So we had units like Agrius before, who has notably like 15 base single target attack resist. If you have this TMR on here, you're going to raise that up to 50. Put the Odin card on her, that's an additional 20. You get 70% damage reduction in any sort of single target attack when you stack those effects together, which is very powerful. It's going to help Sterne, the Knight of Ruin form here, if we put it on him, become a little bit more survivable against a lot of other single target attacks. Now remember, this doesn't work against any sort of AoE damage, only single target ones. Now his master ability is also very powerful, 20% defense penetration as well as 10 slashing attack. For stats, he's going to have a lot of attack there. He's going to have a decent amount of luck and a decent amount of agility there. So he's going to be, you know, very similar to the previous Sterne, but a little bit more dodgier due to these factors. For his damage resistance types, he's still weak to magic, 20% weak to magic, 10% weak to piercing damage, but he has 20 slash resist, 10 missile resist, and 10 striking resistance there. He also here notably has a 50% charm immunity as well as 50% disable immunity. And the way that the damage formulas and the status formulas work in this game, do remember that these are doubled in the status ailment calculation. So he's practically going to be charm immune to anything that has a 50% or lower charm factor in that calculation. There's going to be some sort of abilities in there that might be able to damage you or actually hit you with that charm. It's going to factor in the charm mod. So if you have like a higher than 50% charm mod and you guys both have higher than average faith, you still have a chance to get charmed, but 99.99% of the time, especially if you run this character at 30% faith there, you're just not going to get charmed there from most of the charm skills out there. The one that you might get tagged by is Victoria's Limit Burst there if you for some reason have a higher than 30 faith mod on your Knight of Ruin Sterne there. He also has the immunity to disable, which is very powerful as well. So with that being said, let's take a look at his skills here. Knight of Ruin support skills. He has Desperation. This is going to be very familiar to you. This is the old soldier passive skill. It's the same thing, up to 60% attack at base. Max level here from the 30% at base. The main difference is instead of 8% resistances to all of the damage types in the game, it's only 5%. So it's a straight upgrade to the old soldier passive here. We have Blade Soul from Samurai passive. This can be 25% attack, which is very powerful. You put Desperation and Blade Soul on, you'll be good to go there. If you want to have more dodginess, you can kind of make him like a dodge build if you want. He does have the Evasion Up passive from the Assassin subtree, as well as acquired AP up. So if you don't have like Zizabel or anything that gives you a lot of AP over time, like Oldoa TMR as well, you can use this to gain more AP over time with your auto attacks and things like that. For counters, he has Murderous Glare here, so if you take damage, you have a chance to increase your slash attack by 25 for 3 turns, so a very offensive reaction command there. You also have Third Eye to increase your evasion rate, or Dark Shadow to increase your evasion rate and boost your CT up as well. So very powerful options here, all 3 of them. Third Eye will give you that 10 evasion, although it's going to be worse than Dark Shadow, so really your choices here are Murderous Glare / Dark Shadow. Murderous Glare, if you want that offensive damage pressure / attack up 25 mod, is nothing to sneeze at, especially when we have a character like Sterne, Knight of Ruin, who can just do a bunch of damage. Let's take a look at his main job, Knight of Ruin skills. You'll have this no matter what sub-job you choose to pick on him. You have Mighty Break, which is in 43% attack break with long range. So you're going to notice a lot of his skills have very, very high range, which is a weakness that old Sterne really had. A lot of his stuff was melee range, short range. There's only a couple of skills he had that were long range, especially a lot of people are running old Sterne Shuriken. You're not going to need to worry about that for this guy though. So we have Mighty Break with a 1.21 mod, 43% attack break. We have a very powerful buff here with the Roar of Ruin. So you're going to get a 40% attack buff and a 40 accuracy buff for 3 turns. So it makes him much more capable of dealing with evasion units on top of all of the strong skills that he has access to. We have Swift Slash as well, which is something we've seen before. 3 range here. It's going to teleport you to the character. You're going to damage the character, and you're going to get a 40% agility buff for 1 turn there, so you're gonna get your next turn even faster as well. So that's gonna help you out, close in, stick on a target in PvE / PvP scenarios. Now we have his main signature skill, Hazard Crusher. So this is going to be a 1.85 times mod. It's going to consume 20% of your max HP there, but it's also going to decrease defense by 30 for 3 turns, and this is going to decrease that defense. It should right before it does the damage, a la Armor Crush from Thunder God Sid. Very similar to that skill, but as you can see, this one hits in an AoE effect range. So this gives that skill, not only does it have 3 range normally, but it actually reaches out 2 squares beyond that. So if you're really far away from someone, you can still tag that one person, but if you're closing in on them, you might be able to hit them, the entire enemy team in PvP, multiple monsters in PvE. Very strong skill with that defense break, plus the AoE, plus a very nice multiplier there as well. So Hazard Crusher is definitely his go-to skill, costs 36 AP, but it is so strong. You only get 2 casts of it because it is that powerful, but man, is it so good. Then we also have Catastrophe here. His highest mod skill in his main job skills here, 2.05 mod. It increases your light killer by 45, and it's like a cleave in front of you, and it will hit 2 squares to your left, right, and behind as well. So it's going to be a very strong skill, especially if you're trying to take down those light tanks in PvP scenarios. Very strong stuff to talk about there in his main jobs. He pretty much has no bad skills in his main job. Now, Knight of Ruin, his sub-job skills, we have double attack here, increases your light killer by 30 before you get in there. Really not the craziest skill of all time, kind of underwhelming compared to his other ones. Melee range, low mod, light killer 30 instead of 45, so kind of whatever. Then we have Demonic Heal here, raises max HP and HP restored by 25%, so a very similar skill to what we've had before from Knights, right, where they boost their max HP and restore their HP based on what they raised it by. It's an okay skill, but Knight of Ruin's sub job is just really not worth taking on Knight of Ruin Sterne here. All of his good stuff is in his main job. If you want some extra stuff, go ahead and use either Samurai or Assassin here. Samurai has the typical stuff. If you want a dodge buff here, we have Illusion, we have Hien for medium range, low AP cost skill there to kind of finish opponents off. We have Devotion as well. You can get the crit hit rate buff and the 30% attack buff, but his attack buff, accuracy buff in his main job from Knight of Ruin is just better anyway. You could pick Samurai here for the Congo, which is going to be a cleave attack that you have. It pierces right through, so if you want to have that ability to just like tag a couple people, you can do that, but he already has Hazard Crusher for that as well, right? You can aim beyond you and hit in front of you. You can still tag those 3 people in a line with Hazard Crusher like you could with Congo. So it's not the craziest thing there. Now, if you go Assassin, you're going to have some nice options here. Assassin's probably going to be a go-to for you guys out there without those AP restoring TMRs because of C's AP here. So C's AP is going to absorb AP off the enemy. So this is going to be a very powerful way to actually gain AP points because you're going to take it away from them and give it to you. And on top of that, not only are you actually gaining your own AP, but if your opponents do have those AP restoration TMRs, you get in range, you hit them with this, you're taking their AP, so you're kind of like stealing their TMR effect when it's one of those as well. So a very strong skill there. We also have a Pillaging Blade. You can use him to farm up a little bit there. It's Poison Sting, and then most notably Bind here if you want to have the chance to paralyze people. But a lot of the cool stuff that you're using Sterne for is his main job, but Assassin also does give you a very hard-hitting melee skill with Marauder's Blade. If you are on it, if you're behind the target, it's going to be a 50 defense break in a 1.75 times mod. Very strong stuff there. Now we also have his Limit Burst, which is Destructive Fang. It's going to be a 2.0 mod at max level, and you're probably going to want to level this one up, and it actually works in tandem with his go-to skill here. Remember, Hazard Crusher consumes your own HP, and Hazard Crusher has some pretty long range on it. It's going to be probably the first skill that your AI is going to use in a lot of situations because it has the longest reach. So you're going to, consume your own HP. You're going to get that 30 defense down. You're going to do a large amount of damage. And then afterwards, since Hazard Crusher's mod is 1.85, and your Limit Burst, once you level it up, once you get above 1.85, you're going to use Destructive Fang as you close in, because you're now closer to the enemy, and you're going to heal all that damage and probably finish that person off there. So very strong Limit Burst as well. Strengths and weaknesses for this character overall. Sterne he does a lot of damage. All right, he's got a lot of pluses, high attack. You can build him dodge if you want to. He's a fantastic character. He does have one notable weakness though. Every single attack that he does to do damage is slashing attack. So you might pay the price every once in a while if you run into someone who's ready for you, where they just have a bunch of slashing resistance. Right now we don't have any way to penetrate slashing resist. We'll have a way to do that in the future, so you can actually start doing damage. You might run into some people, especially in the higher tiers, who have 90, 95, 100% in some cases slashing resist on their tank. The good news about that, though, is that, like we said, we have AoE damage ability. So if their tank has 100% slashing resist and their tank's standing next to a couple other characters, well, those characters are probably going to get bopped right now, especially with Hyde being in the state that it is in right now in global. So that being said, he's a fantastic character. A lot of you guys out there are going to love this character, and he's a fantastic person to add to your arsenal. And then in the future, like I said, once we get those defense penetration mechanics added to the game, like the Aegeon vision card and Esper, he's gonna be a great character for you to use. Now remember, guys, also as well, he is a double costed character, so keep that in mind as you're pulling for this character. He is going to be very similar, exact same thing to Gilgamesh from War of the Visions, where it's going to effectively cost you an extra UR if you're leveling this guy to max level, but he's definitely extremely powerful. If someone's not ready for you, you're actually just going to level them with this guy. So add him to your repertoire if you like what you've seen here. Obviously, guys, it's a fun, fantastic time out there for Sterne fans. Have fun out there. Stay safe. Remember, the link's down below in the description for the good old Amazon stuff if you're utilizing that. And until the next one, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Knight of Ruin Sterne is the latest unit to hit War of the Visions. Is he's everything that he's hyped up to be?